Hello and welcome to London Calling 2024, our 10th anniversary event. Can you believe it? I'm so excited to be joining you live from Old Billingsgate, just off the River Thames in the heart of London, and giving you, our virtual audience, a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the venue right now. In just a couple of moments, we'll be heading over to the studio, which is just off the main auditorium, where throughout the event, you, our virtual audience, will see exclusive content, including special interviews with very special guests and our speakers. Over the next 2 days, you're going to hear cutting-edge research from scientists using nanopore sequencing to gain novel and comprehensive biological insights. Okay, so this year again, we've invited our plenary presenters to pick their own walk-on music. I'd love to hear from you what your favorite tunes are, or what song you'd select if you were going to take to that main plenary stage. Oh, and while you're at it, please keep sharing the stories of your nanopore journeys. We love seeing what you've been doing with the technology over the past 10 years. Don't forget to use that hashtag NanoporeConf so that we can all see. Oh, and finally, don't forget to be part of our virtual audience. All you have to do is click on the QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen and submit that selfie. Your images will be shared across the main screens before and after every plenary talk, as well as throughout the live venue. Okay, it's time to head over to the studio, where my colleague, Zoe McDougall, is joined by our first set of very special guests. Over to you, Zoe.
Welcome to the online audience at London Calling. It's 10 years since our first London Calling, and we're here in the studio, exclusive live content for you. We've got the best, most comfortable seats, we've got a beer fridge for later, but most importantly, we've got the most fantastic guests in the studio. And we're all here to talk about the day ahead, and later we'll be here to discuss the day's events and see what the best science was of the day, and how that's contextualized for all of us in our everyday lives. And the future, we'll be asking a lot of people in the studio here today what their aspirations are for 10 years from now. Where can the science take us? How can we improve lives, whether that's in healthcare, food security, perhaps in agriculture and the environment. Loads of amazing people to talk to today. So I want to introduce our first guests of the day. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Gordon's coming on in 10 minutes' time. Today we have Belén de la Morena Barrio from the University of Murcia. We have Mo Lee, who's here from the University of Science and Technology in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we've got Ivo Gut, who's here from CNAG in Barcelona. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I really want to ask you all what on the agenda is exciting you today. I'm going to go first to Belén. What's the talk that you're most excited about today to attend at London Calling?
Well, good morning. And first of all, the whole day is very exciting for me. But especially there are some sessions, for example, at 1 o'clock, which are the neurodevelopmental disorders, cancer research. And for me, it's very interesting, this session with very interesting content and new advances with nanopore sequencing.
Fantastic. Mo, what's your talk of the day? What are you most excited about?
I'm very excited about something unique this year, which is the 10-year Nanopore Origins talk. I also teach at my university of Nanopore course. So in that course, I explain to students some historic papers. I'm very excited to hear their stories.
That's going to be a great session. We've got Dan Branton and Dave Deemer joining us online, and then we have 3 of the other academic contributors joining us here in the studio to talk about the 10-year journey of the discovery of the technology, and they'll be here in the studio as well later. Ivo, what are you most excited about today?
Well, there's many different things that are exciting. Obviously, the whole ambiance is one, all the people you're going to meet and so on. But coming down to the sessions, it's always nice to get an introduction from Gordon to what's coming up, what's happened and so on. That's interesting. Clive Brown this evening, always an absolute highlight. And then I'm a universalist, so I do many different things, but the session that I'm very excited about over the day today is the one on cancer. Fragmentomics is a really exciting bit, and I'm curious to see what the progress has been in the last couple of years in that field.
Fragmentomics is a word that is uttered often in the corridors of Oxford Nanopore. We are really excited about that now. Well, contextually, I mean, Ivo, you have been involved in shaping not only institutions' approaches to genomics, but actually whole continents' approaches to genomics through your work with the Genome of Europe program. So what are your aspirations? We've seen in the last 10 years of progress, hard-fought progress, but really amazing progress in genomics. Where do you want us all to be 10 years from now?
Yeah, so this is a complicated question because it probably goes beyond my own career span. So I'm not really the best person to ask about this. But if I look back, at 10 years, what has happened in the 10 years, then I know that invariably you're not going to be able to say where we will be in 10 years' time. So that's for one. But then I think the application of technology has always been the key bit, that you have a technology that enables you to do something that you were unable to do before, and then you apply it correctly. This is really important. And this obviously now is, with Nanopore technologies, at a stage where it is no longer just about technological development and making it a little bit more accurate and a little bit more long or whatever. It is more about applying it correctly in the right context. And for example, putting it into the context of population genomics, understanding structures of genomes is really critical if you want to go to the next step of implementation in healthcare systems correctly, and even take it to the point where you are in a predictive mode, where you are saying, look, you are a so-and-so person, you should be screened for this particular disease slightly earlier than someone else who is a different type of person. And this obviously, with this comprehensive way of looking at a genome, or being able to look at a genome, that is absolutely critical. So it's going to be technology applied correctly in the future.
And policymakers have got to be involved in that as well as scientists.
Yes, this is a question of bringing the policymakers along. This is a question of explaining to them what the benefits are of doing things in a certain way. And that has its time, takes its time. They're not, it's difficult. They have a lot of factors to consider while they are making their policies. They can't just go, we can do this, we'll start tomorrow. No, it is a complicated field, but we need to bring them along and explain to them what can be done, and then get the buy-in from them and implementation into policy.
Absolutely. Well, let's definitely hope in 10 years we are really understanding risk through multi-omic data and able to actively manage what we learn from that. It'll be great. And so, Mo, from your work in KSA and broadly in the Gulf, it is a region which has got a really increasing understanding of human genetics and how that is affecting the local population. What are the areas of interest that you're seeing in KSA around human genetics and how we can improve the health outcomes for the local communities?
Yeah, so as we know that Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region has a high burden of genetic disorders due to consanguineous marriages. And many of the variants in those diseases are unique to the local population. However, describing or resolving these variants has been challenging and defied many conventional technologies. So here we found opportunities of long-read sequencing, including Oxford Nanopore technologies, to resolve these very difficult, complex variants. And my lab has been working on developing simple and effective methodologies for these cases. I think although there's a high burden to the health system, on the bright side, there's also a higher dividend paid back to the society when you use such technologies for carrier screens to prevent diseases from happening.
Well, that's fantastic. And Belén, that is an area that obviously you work in, human genetics. And what are the increases in your ability to understand human genetic disease been over the last 10 years? And how would you like to see that continue? You work in clotting factors, clotting diseases, but even beyond clotting diseases, what are your aspirations for the next 10 years?
Yes. For us, the application of nanopore technologies has increasing the knowledge of, in particular, structural variation, because due to the long read sequencing, we can find the exact breakpoints, and that the structural variants are more complex than expected, because of the technique that is applied in the routine and the diagnosis. And for us, it has been a very exciting field, and particularly with one type of structural variation, which are retrotransposons, because they were hidden by other techniques. They are repetitive, very long sequences that are inserted in the human genome, and we have found that they were the responsible of cases that we had in our lab for more than 10 years. And they didn't have diagnosis. And when we applied nanopore sequencing, we detect that in 1% of our cases with a disease, antithrombin deficiency, this was the cause. An insertion of a retrotransposon in an intron that we have demonstrated they were the pathogenic consequence. So for the next 10 years, I think that it will be very interesting. The project of retrotransposon insertions and deletions in the human genome, because we have found that the databases available are very limited because they were based on short reads.
Fantastic. We've got the voice of God telling everyone to take their seats, so we've only got a few minutes left before Gordon introduces us. So you're from different countries, you're from different communities, you study complementary science. What are you hoping to get out of meeting other scientists here at the conference this week? What kind of conversations are you hoping to have? What kind of collaborations are you hoping to form? Ivo, to you first.
Well, as I said before, I'm a universalist, so I do many different things, jack of many trades within genomics, and on one hand, I expect to learn something from my colleagues. I want them to show me problems that they are unable to solve, and maybe I have an idea or another on how to get down at that particular topic. The conversations that happen sort of in the hall here, they are nearly the important ones, because you will talk to someone who otherwise you would not have met. You talk to them and you start discussing something, and suddenly you notice that you have some common ground, and then you can think about establishing a collaboration, establishing a project out of that. That's definitely one. The second is obviously talking to all of the staff of Oxford Nanopore, that you learn about the things that are happening behind the scenes, the things that they don't show you on the internet or haven't published on their website.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things that you hope to get out of it.
Fantastic. Mo, what's the dream collaboration that you would like to leave London Calling with?
Yeah, let's talk afterwards.
I think, right, you guys are sorted.
Yeah, so there are many fantastic speakers on clinical genetics. I would like to hear from them some feedback on our research, my poster, for example. And also we have some new research on CRISPR safety aspect using Oxford Nanopore sequencing technologies. I would love to hear clinicians' thoughts on whether this technology will help or improve the use of CRISPR in medicine.
And Belén, what about you?
I always learn a lot in these London Calling sessions about the talks, and also with the networking and discussing different problems that we have had, or the results and different applications, different ways of reaching a solution. So I looking forward to this kind of conversation during the talks and the sessions, and particularly I will look for this retrotransposon field that I'm very interested in, and also another things that I think we didn't talk about the RNA-seq and the modifications. That I think that there are many talks about this. I think this is a field that it's very interesting with nanopore sequencing, the detection of the modified bases. And here I find very interesting sessions today and tomorrow. So I looking forward to learn about this and apply it to my lab.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We're welcoming Gordon to the stage in a couple of minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. RNA modifications is going to be a big conversation later in Clive's talk, and we know that lots of collaborations will be formed under the glitter ball later when we have our 10-year party. Thank you very much, and see you later.